Join us as we revisit 40 forgotten soups from the 1970s that have faded into history. First up, the creamy and comforting butternut squash soup, a cozy favorite from fall dinners past. Butternut squash soup. A creamy and smooth favorite, butternut squash soup is perfect for cozy fall evenings. Made by roasting butternut squash until tender and blending it with ingredients like onions, garlic, and vegetable broth. This soup is both sweet and savory. A touch of cream or coconut milk adds richness, while spices like nutmeg and cinnamon enhance its natural sweetness. Some versions include a hint of apple for added tartness or a dash of cayenne for a subtle kick. Butternut squash soup is often garnished with toasted pumpkin seeds or a drizzle of olive oil, making it a comforting and visually appealing dish. But if you thought this was comforting, wait until we dive into a soup that made mealtime a playful and nostalgic experience. Alphabet soup. Alphabet soup. Alphabet soup was a popular favorite in the 1970s, especially with kids. Its simple tomato-based broth and small letter-shaped pasta made mealtime both fun and educational, as children could spell out words while enjoying their soup. Though it lacked the complexity of other soups, its playful appeal earned it a regular spot at the family table. Some families even added vegetables or chicken to make it more hearty. Over time, however, as healthier and more diverse meals became the norm, alphabet soup slowly faded from popularity. Today, it remains a nostalgic memory for many who grew up with its charming simplicity. If you thought alphabet soup was fun, wait until we get to the hearty soup that made every cold day feel just a little bit better. Chicken noodle soup. Chicken noodle soup has long been the ultimate comfort food, especially when you're under the weather or need warmth on a cold day. With its simple ingredients, tender chicken, wide egg noodles, carrots, and celery, it was a household staple in the 1970s. Known for its nourishing qualities, it became a go-to remedy for colds and a wintertime favorite. Thanks to brands like Campbell's, the convenience of canned chicken noodle soup made it a quick meal. However, as more diverse flavors gained popularity, its appeal started to fade. Still, for many, it remains a nostalgic reminder of cozy family meals and simpler times. Did chicken noodle soup always make an appearance in your house during cold season? Or did you have a different soup that warmed you up? Clam chowder. Clam chowder is a hearty soup with its roots in New England, traditionally made with tender clams, potatoes, onions, and celery. It's thickened with cream or milk, creating a rich, velvety texture that perfectly complements the briny flavor of clams. Some regional variations, like Manhattan clam chowder, swap the creamy base for a tomato-based broth, adding a different twist to the classic. Often served with oyster crackers or crusty bread, clam chowder is a favorite in coastal areas, especially during cooler months. Its creamy warmth and robust seafood flavor make it a timeless dish that's both filling and satisfying. Gazpacho. Gazpacho, a refreshing cold soup originating from Spain, made quite a splash in 1970s American kitchens. This light, healthy option was a break from the heavier warm soups of the era. Made with fresh tomatoes, cucumbers, bell peppers, onions, garlic, olive oil, and vinegar, it was blended into a smooth, chilled puree that was perfect for hot summer days. Often served as an appetizer or light meal, gazpacho was popular among the health-conscious crowd. Its vibrant red color and vitamin-rich ingredients made it an appealing choice for those seeking lighter, nutritious meals. Despite its initial popularity, gazpacho slowly faded from dinner tables as cooler weather rolled in and people began to favor heartier soups for comfort. While it's still a summer favorite for some, its widespread appeal has waned over time. Did your family ever serve cold soups like gazpacho, or did you prefer the warm and comforting classics? Split pea soup. Split pea soup was a staple in many American households during the 1970s, particularly in colder months. Made with dried green or yellow peas, ham hocks, and vegetables like onions, carrots, and celery, this thick, hearty soup provided a smoky flavor and creamy texture that offered warmth and comfort. It was often simmered for hours, allowing the flavors to fully develop, making it both filling and budget-friendly for large families. Though its origins are centuries old, it gained widespread popularity in the 70s due to its simplicity. As quicker meals became more common, split pea soup gradually fell out of favor, but remains a nostalgic favorite for many. And if you love that one, You'll be surprised by the unique taste of the next entry. Miso soup. Miso soup is a staple in Japanese cuisine, known for its simplicity and depth of flavor. The base of the soup is made from dashi, a broth usually made from seaweed, kombu, and bonito flakes, to which miso paste is added. The result is a salty, umami-rich broth that's comforting and nourishing. Typical ingredients include tofu, wakame, seaweed, and scallions, although variations may include mushrooms or other vegetables. Miso soup is often served as a side dish in Japanese meals, particularly with sushi. Its light yet flavorful profile makes it a perfect accompaniment to heavier dishes or a quick, warming starter. So, if you're craving something that truly embodies autumn's warmth, pumpkin soup delivers the cozy, festive flavors you're looking for. Pumpkin soup. Pumpkin soup is a seasonal favorite, particularly during fall and winter when pumpkins are in abundance. This soup is typically made by roasting pumpkin and blending it with onions, garlic, and vegetable or chicken broth. The creamy consistency is often enhanced with cream or coconut milk, and the natural sweetness of the pumpkin pairs well with spices like nutmeg, ginger, and cinnamon. Some versions add a touch of maple syrup or honey for extra sweetness, while others introduce heat with cayenne or chili flakes. Pumpkin soup is often garnished with toasted seeds or a swirl of cream, making it both comforting and festive. Minestrone soup. Minestrone soup was a beloved classic in the 1970s, celebrated for its hearty, vegetable-rich ingredients and versatility. Typically made with a tomato base, onions, carrots, celery, and garlic, families would add a mix of seasonal vegetables like zucchini, spinach, potatoes, and kidney beans. Many also included pasta or rice for a more filling meal. Its roots go back to ancient Rome, where it was made from leftover or inexpensive ingredients. In the 70s, it became popular among families seeking nutritious, vegetarian meals. However, as quicker meal options gained popularity in later decades, the time-consuming preparation of minestrone made it less common in modern kitchens. Did your family add anything special to their minestrone soup, or did they stick to the classic recipe? Egg drop soup. A simple yet flavorful dish, egg drop soup is a Chinese favorite known for its silky texture and light broth. The soup is typically made by slowly pouring beaten eggs into a hot chicken or vegetable broth while stirring, creating delicate ribbons of cooked egg. It's seasoned with soy sauce, sesame oil, and white pepper, with scallions and tofu often added for extra flavor and texture. Sometimes cornstarch is used to slightly thicken the broth. Egg drop soup is quick to prepare and perfect as a starter or light meal, offering a balance of savory warmth and subtle flavors. And if you like this one too, keep watching, because number 11 is amazing. Lentil soup. Lentil soup was a nutritious and budget-friendly staple in many 1970s kitchens. Made from protein-rich lentils, this hearty soup was typically simmered with onions, carrots, celery, and garlic, often enhanced with herbs and spices for added depth. Some versions included ham or sausage for extra flavor, though the vegetarian version was just as satisfying. Lentils, a legume with ancient roots in Middle Eastern and Mediterranean cuisine, made this dish both filling and affordable. By the 70s, lentil soup was appreciated for its high nutritional value and ease of preparation. However, as lighter meals and processed foods gained popularity in the 80s, lentil soup began to fade from everyday menus. Do you remember the first time you ate this soup? Pho. Pho is a beloved Vietnamese noodle soup, known for its fragrant broth and fresh toppings. The broth is typically made by simmering beef or chicken bones with spices like star anise, cinnamon, and cloves for hours, resulting in a deeply flavorful base. Rice noodles and slices of beef or chicken are added to the broth, and the soup is served with a variety of fresh herbs like cilantro, Thai basil, and bean sprouts. Lime wedges and chili slices allow diners to adjust the flavor to their liking. Pho is both comforting and refreshing, offering a perfect balance of savory broth and fresh garnishes. If you thought pho was versatile, wait until you hear how corn, a New England and Native American staple, transformed into a beloved year-round meal for families. Corn chowder. Corn chowder was a beloved dish in the 1970s, offering a sweet and creamy comfort food that filled many dinner tables. Made with fresh or canned corn, potatoes, onions, and milk or cream, it provided a hearty, satisfying meal. Some versions included bacon or ham for a smoky twist, while others highlighted the natural sweetness of the corn. Popular during summer and fall when corn was in season, canned corn made it a year-round favorite. With roots in Native American cuisine and New England tradition, corn chowder was a staple in the 70s but gradually lost popularity in the 80s as lighter, healthier soups took its place. Vegetable beef soup. Vegetable beef soup was a comforting staple in the 1970s, known for its hearty ingredients and rich flavor. Tender chunks of beef simmered in a flavorful broth with vegetables like carrots, potatoes, peas, corn, and green beans, making it both nourishing and filling. Often served as a main dish, this soup was perfect for cold days, providing warmth and nutrition in one bowl. Its roots go back to American homesteads, where families used whatever vegetables and meat were available. By the 70s, homemade and canned versions, like Campbell's, were popular, but the rise of faster processed meals in the 80s and 90s led to its decline. Did your family make vegetable beef soup from scratch, or did you rely on canned versions for a quick meal? Matzo ball soup. A staple of Jewish cuisine, matzo ball soup is often served during holidays like Passover, but is enjoyed year-round for its comforting qualities. The soup features matzo balls, which are dumplings made from matzo meal, eggs, and oil, or schmaltz, chicken fat, cooked in a clear chicken broth. The broth is usually flavored with vegetables like carrots, celery, and onions, making it hearty and flavorful. The matzo balls themselves can be dense or light, depending on personal preference. Often considered Jewish penicillin, matzo ball soup is both nostalgic and healing, offering warmth and comfort in every bite. Lobster bisque. Lobster bisque was the epitome of luxury and indulgence during the 1970s, often served at dinner parties or upscale restaurants. This creamy, smooth soup was made by simmering lobster shells with aromatics like onions, carrots, and celery, extracting rich flavors. The broth was then combined with heavy cream and finished with tender chunks of lobster meat. Sometimes a splash of sherry or brandy was added for extra depth, making this dish a true culinary delight. The origins of bisque can be traced back to French cuisine, where it was traditionally made from shellfish. In the 70s, lobster bisque became synonymous with sophistication and refinement. It was a go-to dish for special occasions, offering a rich, elegant flavor that impressed guests. However, as the 80s approached, lobster bisque became less common due to the rising cost of lobster and the increasing preference for less labor-intensive meals. Did your grandmother have a special twist on this? Avgolemono soup. Avgolemono is a traditional Greek soup known for its creamy texture and tangy flavor. Made by whisking eggs and lemon juice into chicken broth, the soup is thickened as the eggs gently cook, creating a silky consistency. Rice or orzo is often added for substance, making it a hearty and satisfying dish. The bright citrus notes from the lemon contrast with the richness of the broth, offering a balanced and refreshing flavor. Avgolemono is often enjoyed as a comforting meal on chilly days or as a soothing remedy for colds, with its creamy texture and zesty finish providing both warmth and brightness. Get ready for a soup that truly packs a flavorful punch. Hot and sour soup. Hot and sour soup is a classic dish in Chinese cuisine, celebrated for its contrasting flavors and hearty ingredients. The broth is made with soy sauce, vinegar, and a variety of spices, delivering a perfect balance of heat and tang. It typically contains tofu, bamboo shoots, wood ear mushrooms, and sometimes pork or chicken. The soup is thickened with cornstarch, giving it a satisfying consistency, and the spiciness can be adjusted to taste with chili oil or white pepper. Often served as an appetizer, hot and sour soup is both invigorating and comforting, making it a popular choice for chilly days. Cream of chicken and wild rice. Soup cream of chicken and wild rice soup was a rich, comforting dish that gained popularity in the 1970s, particularly in the Midwest. Made with shredded chicken, wild rice, and a creamy broth, this soup had a slightly nutty flavor from the wild rice and was packed with savory herbs. It was perfect for cold winter nights, providing warmth and nourishment in one bowl. However, as the 80s approached, lighter and quicker meals became the norm, and this time-consuming dish started to fade from popularity. Its richness, once a selling point, didn't fit the changing trends. From the creamy goodness of wild rice to a soup that pairs perfectly with grilled cheese. Up next is a classic you won't want to miss: tomato soup. Tomato soup, with its smooth texture and tangy flavor, was a household staple in the 1970s. Often paired with a grilled cheese sandwich, it was the go-to comfort meal for many families. Made from ripe tomatoes, broth, and a touch of cream, it was both simple and satisfying. While homemade versions offered a more rustic flavor, canned varieties like Campbell's made it easy and convenient for busy families. Though beloved for its affordability and ease, tomato soup began to fade in popularity during the 1980s as people turned to more exotic and flavorful options. Its simplicity, once an asset, became a drawback in a more adventurous culinary world. Did your family enjoy tomato soup with grilled cheese, or was there another soup that stole the spotlight? Soapa de Fido. Sopa de Fido is a comforting Mexican noodle soup, often enjoyed as a simple, everyday meal. The soup is made with fidio, thin, vermicelli-like noodles, which are toasted before being simmered in a tomato-based broth. The broth is typically flavored with garlic, onion, and chicken or vegetable stock, giving it a rich and savory taste. Some versions include vegetables like zucchini or carrots, while others may add shredded chicken for extra protein. Sopa de Fido is often garnished with fresh cilantro, lime, or avocado, offering a satisfying balance of warmth and freshness. It's a nostalgic dish for many, evoking memories of home-cooked meals. Mock turtle soup. Despite its name, mock turtle soup didn't contain any turtle. Instead, it used a variety of meats, often calf's head, to mimic the flavor and texture of real turtle soup. This dish became a staple in 1970s households, especially in the South, where it had deep culinary roots. With its rich broth and unique flavor, mock turtle soup was a memorable dish, though it required time and effort to prepare. As tastes changed and people sought out quicker, less labor-intensive meals, mock turtle soup gradually disappeared from everyday dining. Its reliance on less popular ingredients like organ meat also contributed to its decline. Did your family ever try mock turtle soup, or was this dish too adventurous for your home? Tom Yum Soup. Tom Yum is a traditional Thai soup known for its bold flavors, spicy, sour, and fragrant. The base of the soup is made with a broth infused with lemongrass, lime leaves, galangal, and chili peppers. Shrimp or chicken are common protein additions, along with mushrooms, tomatoes, and cilantro. The sourness comes from lime juice, and a touch of fish sauce adds saltiness and umami. Some versions of Tom Yum also include coconut milk, which adds creaminess and tempers the spice. It's typically served hot, with a vibrant combination of flavors that awakens the palate, making it a beloved dish in Thai cuisine. French onion soup. French onion soup, with its rich beef broth and caramelized onions, was a favorite in many 1970s households and restaurants. Topped with crusty bread and melted cheese, it offered a perfect balance of savory and sweet flavors. Slowly cooked onions simmered in broth created a deep, satisfying taste that made this soup a luxurious yet comforting dish. Originally a French classic, it gained popularity in the US during the mid-20th century, becoming a go-to option for those seeking a sophisticated starter. However, as quicker, lighter meals took over in the 80s, the labor-intensive preparation of French onion soup caused it to fall out of favor. From the richness of French onion soup, we're moving to another hearty, protein-packed soup that filled bellies across America. Bean soup. Bean soup was a budget-friendly, protein-packed dish that appeared on many dinner tables in the 1970s. Made with navy, kidney, or pinto beans, this hearty soup was slow-cooked with vegetables like carrots, onions, and celery, often flavored with ham hocks or bacon. Its simplicity made it a favorite, especially during the colder months. However, as lighter soups gained popularity in the 80s, bean soup started to fade from everyday meals, remembered mostly for its comforting qualities. Did your family make bean soup from scratch, or was it a dish you skipped? Borscht. Borscht is a vibrant beet soup originating from Eastern Europe, particularly associated with Ukrainian and Russian cuisine. The soup's distinctive red color comes from beets, which are simmered with cabbage, carrots, potatoes, and onions in a savory broth. It can be served hot or cold, and often includes meat, like beef or pork, for added heartiness. The soup's tangy flavor is enhanced by a splash of vinegar or lemon juice, and it's typically garnished with sour cream and fresh dill. Borscht is both earthy and refreshing, with its rich color and balance of sweet, sour, and savory flavors, making it a comforting dish year-round. Bouillabaisse, a traditional French seafood stew, gained popularity in the 1970s among adventurous eaters. Made with a mix of Mediterranean fish, shellfish, and aromatic herbs, this dish was a flavorful, luxurious treat. The broth, rich with tomatoes, onions, garlic, and saffron, simmered to perfection before being served with fresh seafood. Though originally a fisherman's dish in southern France, bouillabaisse became a sought-after delicacy in the U.S., especially at upscale gatherings. However, the intricate preparation and need for fresh seafood caused it to fade from popularity as simpler seafood dishes took over. Was bean soup a staple in your family, or did you prefer another protein-packed dish? Chicken tortilla soup. Chicken tortilla soup is a flavorful Mexican-inspired soup that combines shredded chicken, tomatoes, onions, and a blend of spices like cumin and chili powder. The base is typically a tomato and chicken broth, and the soup is often filled with black beans, corn, and bell peppers for added texture. A defining feature of this soup is the crispy tortilla strips that are either served on top or alongside the dish. Garnishes such as avocado, cilantro, lime wedges, and sour cream add freshness and depth to the soup. Chicken tortilla soup is both hearty and zesty, offering a perfect balance of spice and comfort. But if you think chicken tortilla soup delivers a flavorful punch, get ready for the rich, umami-packed world of ramen. Ramen is a Japanese noodle soup that has gained international popularity for its rich, flavorful broth and variety of toppings. The base broth can be made from soy sauce, shoyu, miso, salt, shio, or pork bones, tonkotsu, each providing a unique flavor profile. The soup is served with wheat noodles and topped with ingredients like sliced pork, soft-boiled eggs, seaweed, bamboo shoots, and green onions. The broth is often slow-cooked for hours, developing a deep umami flavor. Ramen's versatility and depth make it a beloved comfort food in Japan and beyond, perfect for a quick meal or a gourmet dining experience. Pepper pot soup. Pepper pot soup, a spicy, hearty dish, was especially popular in African American and Caribbean households during the 1970s. Made with tripe, vegetables like okra and collard greens, and a generous amount of black pepper and chili, this soup packed a flavorful punch. Often served with cornbread or rice, it was both a filling and affordable meal for large families. The soup has roots in the West Indies, brought to America by enslaved Africans, and it became a regional favorite in places like Philadelphia. Over time, the use of tripe and the labor-intensive preparation caused pepper pot soup to decline in popularity. Ready to spice things up? Our next soup is packed with bold flavors and a hint of spice. Chicken gumbo. Chicken gumbo, with its rich blend of southern spices, vegetables, and tender chicken, was a soul-warming dish popular in the 1970s. Originating from Louisiana's Creole and Cajun culinary traditions, gumbo typically included okra, which helped thicken the stew, and was often served over rice. The flavorful combination made it a family favorite, especially during colder months. However, as quicker meal options gained popularity, the time-consuming preparation of gumbo caused it to fade from many dinner tables. Was chicken gumbo a favorite in your family, or did you stick to less spicy soups? Zupa Toscana. Zupa Toscana, which translates to Tuscan soup, is a creamy, hearty Italian soup that blends simple ingredients into a flavorful dish. Made with Italian sausage, potatoes, kale, and a creamy broth, the soup is both filling and comforting. The sausage adds a savory richness, while the potatoes give the soup its hearty base. Kale adds a slight bitterness and texture that balances the creaminess of the broth. Some versions include bacon for extra flavor. Zupa Toscana is a favorite in Italian-American cuisine, often served with crusty bread for dipping. Its richness and warmth make it perfect for colder months. Black bean soup. Black bean soup was a hearty staple in many 1970s households, especially in Latin American communities. Made from slowly simmered black beans with onions, garlic, cumin, and a hint of vinegar or lime, this soup was packed with bold, earthy flavors. Often garnished with sour cream, cilantro, or chopped onions, it was both nutritious and filling, perfect for a cold day. Black bean soup has roots in Latin American cuisine, particularly in countries like Cuba and Mexico. However, as taste shifted towards spicier, more complex soups. Black bean soup began to fade from popularity. Did your family add extra spices to their black bean soup, or was it all about keeping things simple? Vichi Swas. Vichi Swas is a classic French soup that's typically served cold, making it a refreshing option for warm weather. The soup is made with pureed leeks, potatoes, onions, and cream, creating a silky, smooth texture. It's subtly flavored with a mild oniony taste from the leeks, and the potatoes add creaminess without being too heavy. Vichi Swas is often garnished with chives or crème fraîche, giving it a touch of elegance. While traditionally served chilled, it can also be enjoyed warm. This soup's simple ingredients and luxurious texture make it a refined yet comforting dish, perfect for a light meal or appetizer. But if you think Vichi Swas offers a cooling contrast, let's turn up the tang with something bold. Sinigang. Sinigang is a sour Filipino soup known for its tamarind-based broth, which gives it a tangy flavor. The soup typically includes pork, shrimp, or fish, along with vegetables like eggplant, spinach, radish, and tomatoes. The sourness of the tamarind balances the richness of the meat, creating a unique flavor profile that's both comforting and refreshing. Some versions of sinigang use other souring agents like green mango or calamansi. It's usually served with steamed rice, and its bold, tangy flavor makes it a beloved dish in Filipino cuisine. Sinigang is perfect for a hearty meal, offering a satisfying combination of savory, sour, and fresh flavors. Italian wedding soup. Italian wedding soup, with its tender meatballs, spinach, and tiny pasta, became popular in American households during the 1970s, especially among families with Italian heritage. The name comes from the marriage of flavors between the savory meatballs and the light greens, simmered together in a flavorful broth. This soup was often served at special family gatherings or Sunday dinners, making it a comforting, nostalgic dish for many. Though Italian wedding soup is still enjoyed today, it has become less common as more globally influenced soups entered American kitchens. Knoblauch soup. Knoblauch soup is a creamy, German-inspired soup, popular in the Midwest, particularly North Dakota. The soup's name comes from knufla, which are small dumplings made from flour, eggs, and milk. These dumplings are boiled in a rich, creamy broth made with chicken or vegetable stock, potatoes, and onions. The soup is seasoned with simple spices like parsley and pepper, but its appeal lies in the hearty, satisfying texture of the dumplings and potatoes. Knoblauch soup is the epitome of comfort food, offering a warm, filling meal that's perfect for cold days, evoking a sense of home and tradition. But if you thought knoblauch soup was comforting, let's turn to something even richer and more robust: oxtail soup. Oxtail soup. Oxtail soup is a rich and savory dish that's made by simmering oxtails with vegetables like carrots, onions, and celery for several hours, resulting in a deeply flavorful broth. The oxtail meat becomes tender and falls off the bone, while the slow cooking process releases gelatin from the bones, giving the soup a rich texture. Oxtail soup is popular in many cuisines, from Caribbean to Asian, each with its own variations. It's often served with rice or bread, and garnished with fresh herbs. The soup's robust flavor and hearty ingredients make it a comforting and nourishing meal, especially during colder months. Potato cheese soup. Potato cheese soup was the ultimate comfort food in the 1970s. This thick, creamy soup combined mashed or diced potatoes with sharp cheddar cheese to create a hearty, satisfying meal. Some versions added bacon, onions, or chives for extra flavor, making it a go-to dish for cold winter nights. The richness of the soup made it feel like a complete meal in a bowl. As the 1980s approached and health-conscious eating became more prevalent, the calorie-heavy potato cheese soup started to fade from popularity, replaced by lighter options. Are you ready for the last one? Then stay tuned, because you don't want to miss this one. Leek and potato soup. Leek and potato soup is a simple yet delicious dish, combining the mild, onion-like flavor of leeks with the creamy texture of potatoes. The soup is typically made by sautéing leeks in butter before adding potatoes and vegetable or chicken broth. Once the vegetables are cooked, the soup is blended to a smooth, velvety consistency. A touch of cream or milk is often added for extra richness, though it can be left out for a lighter version. Leek and potato soup is both comforting and elegant, making it a versatile option that can be served as a starter or a main course. We've explored 40 forgotten soups from the 1970s. Which one sparked your memories? Share in the comments, and be sure to like, share, and subscribe for more nostalgic food content.